Hey guys, so what we're going to be going over today is Holloway versus Gaethje. This is Holloway's last fight, and it is due to they're showing this for free on the UFC YouTube channel, and the reason is because Holloway is going to be fighting against Topuria coming up here, and it's a really interesting fight, and I think a lot of people are really interested in how it's going to go. Holloway had a really crazy impressive win over Justin Gaethje in this fight, and probably has the greatest knockout of all time because of this fight. It's definitely top three, and so we're going to see what Holloway did to make this fight so successful for him, and what Justin Gaethje did to kind of allow Holloway to be so successful, or the things that he did successful as well. So let's start watching. So one of the things that I know about Holloway is that Holloway is a very big 145er. In this fight, he's a 55er because this is Justin Gaethje. I have a guy that I train. His name is Evan Elder, and I coach, and he had talked about once that Holloway is so big, it's insane that he makes 45. He could actually be, in his terms, he looks like a welterweight when he's just walking around regularly. So everybody kept saying about how Justin Gaethje is so much bigger than Holloway, but honestly, from what I understand in person, Holloway is very big. One thing that you'll notice with Holloway is Holloway tends to have very good footwork. He stays in his stance well. He tends to keep his hands up pretty well. He does tend to keep his head up, right, a lot. Justin Gaethje obviously is known for throwing a lot of hard calf kicks. Justin Gaethje is available to hit, but his defense has gotten better over time. Justin Gaethje hits real fucking hard, and Max tends to hit in volume. I don't. So I'll start right off by I like the right cross of the body. I think it's relatively safe. I just don't like dropping the left hand as you do it. Right now, both guys are just trying to get their distance down. Looks like a lot of just motion. Big old swing from Justin. Justin. Um, what one thing that you'll see him do a lot is he just fucking dips and chucks them. You know what I mean? So right here, you're gonna see him. He kind of cuts. He switches stance. He's going to dip in. It looks like he's going to dip in and throw. Yeah. So what he did was he switched stance here. He kind of dipped in through his right hook and then switched stance again and dipped in through his right hook again. A lot of things I can say about that. First thing I would say is I'm going to keep it short. I'm trying to get these a little faster, but I'll say that not very technical. It was just a lot of power. He was looking for the right hand twice. It's kind of just like one of those like I'm gonna throw some wild shit and it might land. I don't think Holloway is ready for it. He kind of reflexed out of it, and you can see by Holloway's face, he's like, "Holy fuck, that almost hit me." So, anyways, and then he bounces off the cage, resets, and then we're right back to space. Justin has had a tendency in his existence to just kind of be an animal, and he kind of goes at people. I don't like how Gaethje ends. A lot of times he has really hard calf kicks, like crazy hard calf kicks, but like positionally, how he lines up and he finishes is a huge issue. Like this, I understand you threw a calf kick, man, but like just switch your stance. You know, if you're gonna fall into an opposite stance, just switch your stance and then work your way out of the switch stance. Don't kick and then square up and stand in front of a guy like in a bad position like this. And he just tends to put himself in bad spots after he finishes combos. That habit right there. Gaethje's habit is to dip down to the right side over and over and over again. His main escape is putting his head essentially to his knees when he's about to get hit. See if I can get that again here. So there's the calf, and both arms are out. Big open position here. This is a big step, and if he hits it, it's a lot. Looks like he does land it there. You can see the back of the ref's head there. So this reaction, look how low he goes, right? So you're known to not wrestle. Like I think you only have like a couple takedowns in UFC. I think he only has like one actually, but this reaction right here is such a bad reaction, and and the reason he gets away with it is because what he likes to do is he likes to dip down to his right side, throw his overhand left, and then come back up with his right hand. So I say this all the time. I don't like when guys bring the rear hand down fast to block the jab or the perceived jab to the body. That's what Max just did there. Nice calf kick from Gaethje. Gaethje doesn't really load him up too much, which I like. I mean, normally, I mean, he did a second ago, but a lot of times he'll just snap it off. Max is in stance. I believe he switches stance here. So there's the calf. He's going to switch. So that little step right there. And he's just kind of showing stuff right now. But even when he does this, this isn't horrible. Stance is good. Hands are up. He kind of lost foot position. This is not really where you'd want to be. If you're gonna come forward and you're gonna switch stance, try to beat the front foot ideally. You know what I'm saying? So try to get yourself to the outside of this front foot if you can. That reaction from Gaethje. So that dip, that overreaction with the front hand parry, right? And then dipping to the side and then pivoting out. It's not my fave. Nice calf. And the nice thing, right, man, that was nice. And the reason that's nice is if you watch this calf kick when he hits it, he's gonna have his right hand out. And this is something I try to get onto guys so much is his right hand was guarding himself. He was grabbing for the lead, so he wasn't gonna get hit. The other hand's up, and then he brings the hand back to his face. This is just kind of generally good technique. Don't love that. If you're not gonna running and switching your stance in for a rear uppercut is just a wild shot, man. And then both your hands were down. I do think he kind of lands on the second shot here. So there's the calf, circle, 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 rear uppercut, and what? He actually lands the jab. Jab was slick, moved his head off the center line, but I just didn't love that. The calf is from J.S. Gaethje when he just chucks it like that, when he just touches it. It's as good as anybody's. The only person who probably beats that is Alex Pereira. Feints, little bits of feints. So the one thing I would say from both guys is if you watch their head movement is not very existent. They need to move their head more before they go and when they go. They're both kind of there sometimes. Max has a good jab. He kind of off times it. He kind of like stutter steps in, then he'll like off time it sometimes. That is what I don't like. So this is why I don't like them dropping the right hand to the, so if I recall, he's going to drop the right hand to the jab and the left hook's going to be there. There it is. Yeah. That's why you don't drop the right hand to the body. So he's jabbing to the body. Why are we going here? All right. You're just leaving the left hook. So that shot got in. Nice. So that timing on that rear uppercut was really good. And again, Gaethje gives people the rear uppercut position because he dips to that side, dips to that side, dips to that side. It's a bad habit. Gaethje doesn't really have. He has one way to move his head. You know what I mean? He just dips straight down, or he moves his feet basically straight back and circles out. Because of that, I think he's pretty fucking hittable. The one thing I do see that's similar between Gaethje and Topuria is going to be that both of them kind of dip their head down and forward a lot, and Max takes advantage of that. So I do think that that's something where Max could take advantage of that to Topuria as well. Oof, goodness. Okay, so that exchange right there, we can watch that again really quick because it's a good one. I think it's right there. There's the first one, and it's right here. I believe what's going to happen, if I recall correctly, is Gaethje's going to throw the overhand right and barely miss this. I don't love this from Max. I wish these guys would get in the habit of keeping their hands up. So, little feint, and we're going to go now. There it is. That little inside shot. Max is lucky that right hand didn't land. He's really lucky that right hand didn't land. That right hand, I believe, lands on his neck. We're going to go to super slow-mo for a second here. So if you watch. So, boom, there's the uppercut from earlier. And again, this is something I could actually see Max landing on Topuria. So we're going to be into feints. I think they feint twice before they go. Yeah, no, there we go. All right, so right here. Bad habits from both guys. Stances are good. But right hand is wide open right here. To be honest, the first person who lands here is Gaethje, but I don't think Gaethje lands clean. Bang. Bang. Yeah. So what ended up happening was Max hit Gaethje in the chest, and Gaethje hit Max in the neck, and then Max had the second shot off the return and the inside left hook, which is a clean shot. And that shot's actually really a hard, clean shot right on the jaw, and that shot I think hurts Gaethje. Man, that overcommitment on the jab there to the body, that worries me. So if I was in Topuria's camp, I would be practicing stabbing the jab to the body over and over and over again and looking for the left hook, because Max's habit in this fight is he opens himself up to it. Also, I don't love Max stabbing Gaethje to the body with his jab there, because if you look at what that would set him up for, it would be something. What does this look like? This looks like an overhand right, being an opportunity, especially if you just threw it as he came in, which again we know Topuria likes to go to. Really good calf kick from Gaethje. I would, again, if I was in Topuria's camp and it was as coach, I would look for him to try to work the calf kick. Max comes back with the calf kick. Very different amount of power on that comparatively. Max will kick, and he does in this fight. Man, Gaethje sometimes, bro, like he just throws his punches like he's a fucking caveman. And I know when he lands it, he absolutely demolishes guys. But I just feel like, bro, like get your technique on that a little bit tighter, like a little better. You don't need to like throw everything so hard. I can always hear Trevor Whitman in his corner just being like, take like 30% off your punch, land more. And I tend to agree. He just whips them like he's throwing baseballs. Wish Max would work on his teeps. I feel like he would be really good at him. I mean, he has good leg dexterity. That habit right there of Gaethje just dipping in is such a bad habit. Max takes huge advantage of that towards the end of this round, by the way. I've seen this fight in the past. I haven't watched it since, but Gaethje is just a little bit too rudimentary at times on his defense, and because of that, he ends up beating a very heavy shot at the end of this round. That kind of alters the rest of the fight, in my opinion. Max is looking for the uppercut. The reason he's looking for the uppercut again is because Gaethje's super basic defensive one maneuver of dropping down to his right side to defend everything. So the teep's always there. Nice, good. And boom. So that's the biggest shot of this fight, minus the very end of it. That shot right there sets up literally everything else in the rest of this fight, because Gaethje's pretty much done after that. The reason is because what we talked about earlier. We said that Gaethje likes to do one defense, and his only defense is to dip down to the right side. So this is super slow mo, and Gaethje starts coming in. Look, he dips. And then he dips again because he doesn't know what's going to happen. So he always goes here, and he gets literally kicked with a heel straight into his nose and almost thrown clean out of the cage in the process. And I'll be honest with you, and Max knows when he hit him with that, he was like, yeah, I fucking crushed your face, bro. And you can see it on his face. He's like, yep, I just fucked you up. And it's understandable, because Gaethje's nose is absolutely demolished after this. Both his eyes are basically swollen shut immediately. His nose is screwed. Gaethje's tough. I can't imagine most guys getting hit like that and just being like, yeah, I'll keep fighting. I think most guys would be fucking screwed. The fight would be over. But this goes to the end. But it really diminishes Gaethje's ability. I'm going to go right back to some bad technique of Gaethje. Gaethje parrying with his left hand to the jab hand is stupid. Generally speaking, you don't parry across yourself like that, because they can come over the top, so you're going to see him feint, and this hand right here, this lead hand, is going to parry Max's lead hand, which is a bad habit, right? He kind of catches it more than parries, which is a little more acceptable, but the problem is, if we're fighting each other like this, as soon as I go like this to block your jab, your right hand can come around that, and it's just, I find that to be, again, very rudimentary and very, amateur. A lot of, again, you're not going to see a high level guys do that very often. They're going to use the rear hand far more to block jabs to the face if they're both the same stance. Max is doing a good job here. He's moving his feet side to side. He's moving right, moving left, changing directions, little feints with his hands. He's kind of dancing his way forward, right? He circles out, right? Max is doing a good job here of just touching stuff. He's just touch, 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 and he's in your way, and he's constantly in this place of like, okay, I'm gonna keep like just touching you up, and the more I hit you, the more I'm gonna hit you, right? Kind of bleeding you to death. I always call this like stabbing guys. It's like you just want to stab him. You just want to cut him a little bit, cut him a little bit, cut him a little bit, cut him a little bit. So you keep doing that, and eventually you get to a point where they start to really bleed out, and then you could start like really like chopping them up, and that's the goal with this. And Mac's doing a good job of that. He's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna prod you to death. Um, yeah, that's rough. Yeah, man, they need to fix the gloves. Gloves are rough. The gloves are so bad in my opinion. Um, yeah, I'm going to sound corny and say the classic thing that everybody who's my age says when they talk about MMA, but in Pride they had this fixed, and they should have just used the Pride gloves. But it did seem like there was almost never any eye pokes in Pride. I don't know if that's accurate or not. Gaethje is getting back to parrying the across himself to the left hand, to the jab hand. Nice little teep. I wish Max would throw those to the body and fake them a little bit more often. I think they're useful for him. He could tie hop in and throw. Cross to the body, left hand down again. I'm not a fan of. I do think that puts you in a bad position. Nice kick to the body by Max. Got to quit dropping his hand. So again, we're dropping the right hand to block the jab to the body. Max is doing a good job of touching the calf, and this is something else I think with Topuria you could do because Topuria is there for it. That's a good kick on the leg by Gaethje, and then the Max is right back to touch. Let's see what happens here. My brother. God, dude. You got to keep your fucking hands closed. I'll be honest with you, like I would probably have taken a fucking point from Max at that point. Like that, I know Max didn't do it intentionally, but those are bad. Like both of those were bad. Calf kicks there again, cross to the body, hand down. Man, that overcommitment. That is actually gonna be there for Topuria. I could see that being a shot that Topuria lands. Max just overcommits with the right hand to the body. Move your head out of the way, ref. For the love of Christ. Touches the calf. Touches the jab to the body. Spinning back kick. I was going to wonder. I was like, is he just going to end? Nice. That was really good. Woof. Goodness. Man, it's just... Honestly, Max is just picking him apart for the most part at range. Nothing crazy. And then Gaethje's in a position where he basically feels like he has to steal the end of these rounds. And because he feels like he has to steal the end of rounds, he pressures forward, and then just Max kind of fucking lights him up. Max blocks the calf kick there, comes back with the jab. Nice little kind of teep to the calf there. Ties right back into the calf kick for Max. So... I mean, a lot of this kind of, if I recall, goes basically like this for most of the fight. Max's big bad habit that you're just going to see the most of, in my opinion, is that he gets wide on his defense with his hands. His hands kind of get wide in some scenarios. Second thing is he doesn't tend to move his head a ton, and then when he throws in groupings, he does drop his hands. What he'll do. Also is when he drops to punch to the body, he'll drop both hands, and then also he way overcommits on defending the jab to the body. Way overcommits. Yeah, I mean the big thing I think is just he'll get right in front and right at range, and he just touches you and he just touches you and he just touches you, and then when you try to come in and do something wild, he really counterpunches well, like really fast groupings and counterpunches, and it'll be interesting to see how Topuria deals with that. Topuria just likes to march forward, and I'm just not sure that's gonna be that easy against Max. Oof, nice. This hits the 1-2 right there. Right back into the spinning back kick. And why is that? That's because Gaethje's bad habit, right? So we'll just highlight Gaethje's bad habit being a pretty obvious one. Man, these exchanges are beautiful. Actually, I'll highlight these exchanges really quick because they're really nice. So we'll go back. Jump back a few seconds. So, bang, right? Spinning back kicks there. Why? Because Justin Gaethje always dips down. Gaethje's like, come on, bring it. Ducks the kick barely. But again, it's habit, bro. Like, your habit is literally, I mean, even when you get hit hardest, Gaethje has such a built-in habit to drop down to his right side. He square steps when he goes back too. When he backs up, he crosses his feet. So, nice teep to the body. I do feel like they weren't registering some of the strikes that he landed, but Gaethje likes to back up and square up, and so that's what's going to affect him right here. Because what's going to happen is Max is going to drop down, and when Max drops in, right, Gaethje will square, and the right hand's going to land because of it. Boom, boom, boom. Nice shot, right? Then Gaethje's habit is, if I don't know what's going to happen, I'm going to duck down to my right side. Even in that scenario, he does it again. It works for him in the second half where he gets kicked over the top of his head, but it didn't work for the spinning back kick. And it's like such an ingrained habit that even when he gets hurt, he'll just go to it, right? I don't know how well that landed. There's really not a good sign there. Headbutt in the middle of that. I'm not sure either guy landed great, you know. Good calf kick. Smart. That's a smart move to go to right after that. I really wish they would just show the absolute whole body of these guys instead of like zooming in like it's a boxing match. What? I don't understand it. It's MMA, so it means you can do kicks, right? In wrestling, so it's like if we're not seeing their feet, like that's kind of an issue, right? So he throws the cross, drops the left hand. Again, not a fan of that, man. Just not at all. I just think it's a bad idea. Nice kick to the body. Max was really getting off his right kick to the body on this a lot. I just think that's because Gaethje kind of has a long torso and kind of keeps his left hand really high. It's not that that's a bad thing. It's just that I think it's just more open on Gaethje than some other guys. All right, back to full. Gaethje's looking for the check hook going back. It's not the worst choice. Bro, God, dude. Man, yeah, Gaethje just cannot get himself away from that habit. He just drops in every time. Just goes to that right side. It's such a bad habit of his. It can't, your only defense can't be to drop your head straight down and fucking kiss your ass and hope that you're going to be okay. Like, you have no clue what's happening right now because you basically looked at the floor and then looked up and were like, I have no idea what's going on. And now Max can be throwing combos at you, right? I mean, it's just, like, you're just not in a great position there. Again, I get, like, his nose is absolutely trashed and his face is fucked. But, like, you gotta try to do something else, man. That was good. Yeah, slip to the inside, come back. But again, like, it's just always to that side. Calf kicks are really the only thing Gaethje's super landing. Gaethje's on the teeps is not a bad move, and you can see it on Max's body. That was another one that Gaethje probably should have went to a little bit more. Gaethje's body's getting fucked. Like, that's the other thing is Max is hitting Gaethje's body a lot, so he's really he's just kind of beating him down, you know. It's hard to see if that right hand landed. I think it probably did, if I had to guess. Good teep from Gaethje. That's a technique that Gaethje probably needed to go to a lot, but Max is hitting him back with it too. It turns into just like a lot of rear teeps, but here's the thing about the rear teep. The nice thing about the rear teep is if you show the rear teep, the calf kick is more available. Max is returning off the calf kick into the body shot, and both guys are it's a much better round so far competitively for Gaethje, it looks like. Man, Max is just ripping body shots non-stop in this fight. Makes me wonder if he thinks if he's gonna do that with Topuria. If I was fighting Topuria and I was in Max's corner, probably wouldn't be doing that. I would probably be focusing in on the calf kicks because he's getting them off, and I'd probably be focusing in on throwing head kicks because Max is pretty flexible and pretty fast. I think he could bring those head kicks up pretty quick and get Topuria upright. And once he got him upright, he could cause him to be in a position where he has to be upright and box with you. Topuria is going to want to kind of, again, he likes to bulldoze under guys, move his head side to side. If you kick him, he has to be upright more, and he can't move his head side to side the same way. So, there you go. Little jab to the body. left hook, right cross. Yeah. So that right there, that punch combination that Gaethje just landed, to me is going to be the biggest problem for Max, because that punch combination comes off of the jab to the body, right? So he's jabbing to the body, or at least he's showing the jab, right? He dips in, he throws the left hook, throws the overhand. Topuria throws that combo constantly, and he probably throws it the same, basically, as Gaethje. Now, here's my 2 cents. I'm not sure that Topuria hits any harder than Gaethje. But Gaethje hits real goddamn hard. He's knocked out a lot of guys, big guys at 55, and I'm not sure Topuria would knock out those guys the same way. That being said, though, it is a combination Topuria goes to, and is a combination that he's landed on guys multiple times, and Max is susceptible to it. So if I was Topuria, that's definitely one that you're going to be just trying to get in there as much as possible. You're going to try to really like set that one up from the very get-go. So it looked like Max actually kind of like learned his lesson a little bit there when Gaethje, yeah, nice uppercut cross. That's so good. And that's a shot that I actually think that Max lands on Topuria. So now we're into a scenario where it's the opposite, right? So if you look at the difference here is what Max, his reflex there was much better, right? So what did he do that time? He started to drop his right hand and he goes, no, that left hook's coming. And he brings the right hand back up, and instead he starts using his left hand to try to block the jab, right? And you can see it right. So he's going to dip in a second here. He'll drop in like he's going to throw the jab. He's going to try to go back to the left hook to the outside. Max is going to start to commit his right hand low and then bring his right hand back. Whoop, nope. I don't want that left hook to come. And he realizes, he's like, okay, that's what hit me a second ago. I